I would like to apologize for the arrogance and overconfidence that I displayed last week. I really thought I was going to respond after a miserable week 2, but week 3, an 8-8 record, not even, well, right at 500. That's unacceptable in my book, and I really had the arrogant and overconfident part as saying that I was going to go at least 11-5 at the very worst. But an 8-8 record, I'm not going to be overconfident this time. I'm not going to say I'm going to respond this week. I'm hoping that I can get a winning record. Hopefully we can get back on track of hopefully getting some correct picks this week. So let's go for 9 out of 15 this week. That's the goal. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do 9 or better. I'm just going to say we're going to try to. I know I kind of got on some people when they had bad weeks, and they always say, I'm going to do my best to respond, and I kind of had overconfidence. I just really thought that showing that I'm confident with my picks, it would show that I'm not afraid to make mistakes. And I'm still not afraid to make mistakes. I just don't want to make too many of them. So let's get right on to the week 4 picks, because let's get over this miserable week 3 with 8-8 and 0-4 against the spread, by the way. But I'm going to do my best to respond for the against the spread picks, which are coming either probably today or tomorrow. I'm just not quite sure yet. I've just got a lot going on right now. So let's get started with the Thursday night game, the Minnesota Vikings versus Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to pick the Vikings to recover after their blowout loss against the Bills, because the Rams have 2 of their corners injured. Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib are injured right now. They're banged up. They're going to be out. So that means Diggs is going to eat. That means Thielen is going to eat. I even think Kyle Rudolph is going to eat. I think the Vikings are going to win. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Although this matchup preseason, it seemed to be hyped up to be an offensive battle. But I think the Vikings should end up running away with this game, especially with Peters and Talib being out. And this is the toughest team the Rams have faced so far. Next, with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals because there's just too many injuries on the Atlanta Falcons right now. Devontae Freeman, I don't know if he's coming back this week, but Neal's out for the season, Levitri's out for the season, Ricardo Allen's out for the season, Deion Jones is on the injury reserve for at least another 6 to 7 weeks. I'm taking the Bengals, and I know Andy Dalton is not the same as Drew Brees, but I think Andy Dalton is going to take advantage of the absent pieces on the Falcons' defense. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Chicago Bears. The Buccaneers, they have not made a decision on their quarterback yet, but I don't think it matters. I think the Bears will win either way, because if it's Jameis Winston, I just think that Jameis Winston turned the ball over a lot, because Jameis Winston hasn't proved himself, except a couple of flashes when he was a rookie. But other than that, he hasn't really shown anything to even be a franchise quarterback. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, well, the little Fitz magic is going to have to wear off eventually. And the Bears' defense is the toughest defense that this Buccaneers are going to be facing so far this season, with the big addition to Khalil Mack, who's doing better than the entire Raiders' defense put together. I'm taking Chicago. Next, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to take the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to get a must-win here. I think it's a must-win for the Cowboys to keep with the NFC East, with Carson Wentz being back for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think now that Carson Wentz has a game under his belt, I think the wins are going to keep piling up for Philadelphia. So Dallas has got to win to try to keep up. Just try to keep the pace. And I think the Cowboys will do it. Being in Jerry World this week, I think it's going to pay off for them. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills versus the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to pick Green Bay in this matchup. I know that the Packers have just looked very sluggish so far this season. They had to come back against the Bears, tied the Vikings, got blown out by the Redskins. Well, they had the chance to get back into the game against Washington, but the receivers dropped multiple passes, and Clay Matthews got another questionable roughing the passer call. But I think Green Bay, I think this could be the week where it comes together. Although we did kind of show evidence last year of what the Packers are like without Aaron Rodgers. So I think Aaron Rodgers, I think this is the game where he has to start putting things together. A couple years ago, he said to relax when they were 1-2. Now that they're 1-1-1, hopefully he does the same thing again. So this could be an ideal situation where the Packers win maybe 3 or 4 games in a row, maybe lose one in between, then get red hot when it hits late October into November. That's kind of usually what the Packers are like with Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position. All right, next we've got the Philadelphia Eagles or Tennessee Titans, and like I said, with Carson Wentz having a game under his belt, there's still no Alshon Jeffrey. That's a huge key. Jay Ajayi is questionable right now. But I think with Carson Wentz having now a game under his belt to get back into the thick of things, I think he can pick this Tennessee defense apart. Next, we got the Houston Texans versus the Indianapolis Colts. And I've got the Colts winning this one. Just the Texans, they seem to be in games, but they just can't seem to finish the deal off. Like they were in it week 1 against New England, but they just couldn't finish it. And the Colts, I just feel like with Andrew Luck being back, the wins have got to start piling out for the Colts soon. I think this could be the start of it. I think they take advantage of Houston being their lowest point right now. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins, who are surprisingly 3-0 this season to start the season, and the New England Patriots, who are 1-2. Although, we will come back to earth eventually with the NFL, but I think it starts here. I think the Patriots get the win. I know that a lot of people are giving me advice about the Patriots are having the public eye, or the public seems to love the Patriots. I don't think it's they love the Patriots, it's they love Tom Brady. But September is the worst month for the Patriots. The last time they were 1-2, I believe they made the Super Bowl. Or they won the Super Bowl that year. That was the year they beat Seattle. So, I think the Patriots will win this game. I feel like the Dolphins will get pushed back to reality eventually. The Dolphins have arguably played an easy schedule so far. I will take New England. Although they do need to find answers at the receiver position because Edelman, this is his last game, is being suspended. Josh Gordon is banged up right now with the hamstring injury. So hopefully they can find out their issues at wide receiver soon. Maybe they might trade for Larry Fitzgerald at the trade deadline. That could be a possibility. If I get to it, if I have time for it, I will do a video of possible trade deadline scenarios. I will do that if I have time. But I can't promise you that. But if I have time, if I can fit in some time, I will do it for you guys. I'm just not sure when the deadline is. I'll have to look it up later. But if someone can let me know in the comments section, I would appreciate that. Next, we have the New York Jets versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars, I think they recover after that battle of the field goals game against Tennessee, 9-6. I just think they recover. I just think with Jacksonville's defense and a rookie quarterback, I think this Jaguars defense is going to eat. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Oakland Raiders. And this was the one pick this week that I literally didn't know who to pick. I literally did not know who to pick. I didn't make a decision for this game until about 45 seconds before I hit the record button. That's how much in the air I think this game is. Because the Raiders, they seem to be in games. They seem to be on cruise control in the games, but it just falls apart for them. And the Browns, they should be 3-0 right now if they had decent special teams to start the season. And they're coming off an emotional victory. But I got the Browns winning again this week. I think they're going to make it 2 in a row. This is the pick that I think is going to be one of my incorrect picks this week. Because I think this game goes either way. But I think the Browns pull it off in the end. Next, we have the Seahawks and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are turning to Josh Rosen at quarterback. Hopefully, the Cardinals, they were in the game last week in Chicago, but the turnovers killed them. And I hopefully with Josh Rosen, maybe the future's bright for Seattle, although the Cardinals are very notorious for pulling off home upsets. So that's something to really consider. I think this game can go either way as well. I think Seattle will get the win. I feel like Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are coming off a huge momentum boost, winning in a must-win game last week because they didn't want to fall to 0-3. So they got to still try to keep up with the Rams, especially if the Rams lose the Vikings this week. The Seahawks got to treat this like it's a must win to keep up. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints and the New York Giants. I've got the Saints. Although I believe the last time these two teams face each other, Drew Brees and Eli Manning combined for 12 or 13 touchdown passes. So hopefully we can see a matchup with that again. But I think the Saints will come out on top. Next to the San Francisco 49ers versus Los Angeles Chargers. And the 49ers have lost quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo for the season with a torn ACL injury. And they are turning to C.J. Beathard out of Iowa. I know that Kyle Shanahan has a knack for building up these solid quarterbacks. But I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a much better prospect than C.J. Beathard is. And plus, Jimmy Garoppolo got to learn beforehand with Bill Belichick. I just don't think this is going to be an immediate turnaround for San Francisco. But I think the Chargers to get this win. I feel like the Chargers defense was able to take advantage of C.J. Beathard being an inexperienced NFL quarterback, although he did start some games last year. But I think the Chargers will feast. Sunday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am picking Pittsburgh. They had a morale victory last week against the Buccaneers. Le'Veon Bell is still holding out. Antonio Brown is still kind of tweeting out his emotions. But I think the Steelers, they pull it together this week and they win at the wire, because this will come down to the wire. I think they're going to win this one in the last couple of minutes. Kind of just like what they did last year when they played the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. They won in literally the last minute. Next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Denver Broncos, Monday Night Football, to end the picks. And I've got the Chiefs. Nobody's been able to stop Pat Mahomes so far. Pat Mahomes has just been a sharpshooter so far this season, as a way to put it. It seems like nobody can stop the Chiefs right now. And although I will bring in the fact that it's very tough to play at Denver, especially with the altitude issues. Denver seems to have a significant advantage when they're the home team with the altitude that a lot of these other teams aren't used to. So I got the Chiefs winning this matchup. So those are my picks this week. I've got the Vikings, Bengals, Bears, Cowboys, Packers, Eagles, Colts, Patriots, Jaguars, Browns, Seahawks, Saints, Chargers, Steelers, and Chiefs all winning this week. Once again, we have the Redskins and Carolina Panthers on a bye this week. Like, subscribe, and share. Comment your thoughts on my picks down below. Also, comment your picks down below. Picks against the spread for college and NFL will be a little bit later on, so be sure to check those out as well. We'll see if I can respond to my 0-4 NFL picks since the spread last week, and we'll see if I can carry on from a 5-0 college football picks against the spread last week. So it's going to be very interesting. Be sure to tune into that. I'll see you next time.